What it is, what it do. Here we are, loud and proud. 1st of June, June 1st. The year's ticking down. There's so much drama and so much going on. It's hard to really take the time to enjoy the time that's passing. All of the bad news, all of the new and upcoming forecasts as far as the world being better, being healthier. You know, it ain't about just being alive. It's whether or not you're healthy enough to continue living. Are you healthy enough to continue living? Are you disease and virus free enough to continue living? Are you okay to continue living life the way you forecast or thought? Maybe, maybe not. It's a lot of uncertainty, but here we are to experience what is and what's next. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Before you ever really get concerned with whether or not you get a fair shake in the game, you got to know if you can even get a chance to play. Think about it. Real talk. Do you even get a chance to do you even get a chance to play the game of life? Before you can ever say if I'm a win, lose, draw, have a good time, bad time, RBIs, touchdowns, strike, you don't know what the hell you can do. You don't even know what you can even do. You don't know what you can do. And now with the uproar throughout the country of oppressive voices, of protesters, violent and non-violent, angry youth, just fed up elderly, freaking confused narcissists. Boy, you got a great big mixed bag of nuts going on. It's all over the place. And maybe it should be. Because if you really thought you had everything clocked, you had everything kind of figured out, didn't just throw a monkey wrench into who you are and where you live, where you reside, what kind of world you thought you was living in, you should be thrown for a loop right now. Otherwise, you're blind. You're blind to anything that's going on right now. Life as you know it hadn't really changed. It's just a lot of stuff on TV. It ain't happening in your backyard and you ain't close enough to the heat. So you don't see and hear nothing that's going on. Ain't nothing popping off in your neighborhood. So you're just watching all this on TV like, ooh, it's bad out there. Change the channel. Change the channel. If it's happening in your city and town, then you know what's going on and you feel that uncertainty and you're concerned. If you're involved, then every day is the battle has already started with you. The day started with the battle. It's gonna end with the battle because you know it ain't gonna be no immediate change, and you're not gonna sacrifice going out there for no reason. You're gonna go out there and come back with something. You're gonna go out there and do something to be involved in what you think will make this different or make this change happen throughout the country. But you're just starting where you are. Minnesota had everything to do with Atlanta. Atlanta has everything to do with what's going on in South Carolina. South Carolina has everything to do with what's going on in California. This is not a isolated incident. This has happened enough to where now the country at large has got to feel some semblance of the frustration. Like I said, I made a post about the collateral damage. Buildings are not victims. People are victims. Businesses are not victims. People that work in those businesses are victims. Did you see what I said when I said what I posted about how Black Wall Street had to burn down completely simply because people did not want flourishing, separate but equal existence? Wouldn't it be ironic if that's how it has to happen now? Coexisting has to burn and completely be reduced to ashes and rubble because of the ones that just refuse to allow it to be, a earth filled with different people, a world filled with different people, different cultures, different beliefs, different origin, ethnicity, sex, race, religion. You won't let it be that way, then this was destined to happen anyway. This was the powder keg that was talked about by Malcolm X a long time ago. This powder keg is in the house. We're all in the house. If you're not going to make it right within the house itself is going to be reduced to ashes as a result. So nobody's going to pray for a building. Nobody's going to pray for a house. Nobody's going to pray for a fence or whatever it is you lose as a result of, this inevitable damage that was going to come if things weren't going to be right. And it's not right. The problem is that some people got a problem with how wrong it has to be proven, how wrong it has to get before you get back to, oh, can I go out and get my Starbucks? No, not right now. You better stay your ass in the house. You ain't got a hood on. You ain't out in protest. You ain't out for a change. You might want to sit still because it ain't the corona you got to worry about now. It's the angered masses. It's the frustrated and upset and sick and tired masses of people who just want to go on living regardless of who and what they are. And they're tired of the people who have something to say about who and what they are. Shit's done changed, man. Shit got thick. I told you it would. Have you ever heard of somebody going to court having charges that they could beat or having charges that they may or may not have been guilty of, but they didn't have the representation? They didn't have proper representation. They didn't have money enough to buy a high-powered, high-profile lawyer to represent them. And they got railroaded. They paid money they didn't or shouldn't have had to. They did time that they shouldn't have had to. They incurred probation or house arrest or something else or something. All of these things that could have been avoided if they had the money or had the means to pay for proper representation. You know what proper representation is? Somebody who gets paid to use their influence on people they already know. If you've ever heard somebody refer to a public defender as a public pretender, he know who he's going to see in court. He know who he's going to face on the other side of the aisle and in front of the judge he's going to see. It's going to basically be up to them when they discuss over lunch what's going to happen to you. But a high-profile lawyer is going to basically come in there, and when they see you spending the money to get somebody like him to come in, okay, well, we already got his money. We can do what we want to do. Do you believe him or not? He's going to go in there and say things that you could say, but because you are dressed in the uniform of the prison system and he's dressed in a suit, he's listened to and believed, and, you're guilty already. You came in guilty. You were chained and brought in guilty. Proper representation, high-profile attorneys can get you off of charges that you should be able to beat simply with the facts. No, not today. Not in this day and age. Not in this court system. Not in this judicial system. So the representation is basically what would give you whatever chances you got of being exonerated. Okay? The people who walk around with guns and badges and uniforms, they're the representation for the city, which is in representation of the state. Government, on up. Because you don't hire these people if they're not going to properly represent the force and the laws. If you have people who misrepresent you, you're going to incur improper loss. You're going to incur destruction, possibly even violence. You're definitely going to come out the ass on some money. And that's what has happened with the people that have represented the law enforcement in New York and Los Angeles. And as of most recently, Minnesota, Milwaukee. It's just a matter of people who have misrepresented their use of the law with the jobs they were given. And now the backlash comes as a result. The country at large is going to pay. Not just those cities and states, the country at large. Federal government is going to pay because of the people that have been hired to represent their city and state. Well, the country's going to pay for that. I don't know where you get these sons of bitches from. I don't know where you hire these assholes from. You got a 19-year career in Minnesota, and you got damn near an offense per year. You got 17 offenses. You've been there 19. Hell, how long before you start firing these fuckers? You can fire a lawyer. Can't you fire a freaking cop? Enough people say he's shitty and he done the wrong thing. Well, hell, you got to start believing him. Poor representation, man.